Our
And
teacher that was in high school was still friends with a lot of us who graduated. And she met Leanne Rushi, who was from Nebraska, who had came to Illinois and talked about why isn't there a self-advocacy movement in Illinois, and wondered why there wasn't. And she had asked us to come to UIC and meet People First of Canada. Come talk about the self-advocacy movement there and meet Leanne. And so we went to Chicago to meet her. But I was like, actually when Leanne first met me, I didn't want to talk to her because I was another authority figure, and I didn't want her to tell me what to do in my life. So I was like, another person gonna tell me what to do in my life? I ain't gonna say too much to her. So basically I just answered yes or no questions, and she kind of thought I didn't know how to speak. Even then we didn't know what it was. We just knew that they had great stuff that we wanted. Their t-shirts, jackets, advocacy t-shirts said People First, and we wanted their stuff, so we wanted to join. Because when you first start out, I think it's always important too to get to know the people. We did things together where we would get to know each other and get to be, work with each other a little bit before you start into all the wanting to work with each other as a team and that kind of stuff. And Dr. Braddock asked her to come and work at the university, and she said she wouldn't work without somebody who had a disability with her, because she didn't believe in taking that kind of job. If you're showing of how to make a movement in Illinois and how to make a movement wherever you are, and showing the relationship between, people with and without disabilities, you should set the example of how you're going to do that at the place you're starting. So we started a self-advocacy support project. That's what it was called at University of Illinois, Chicago.
Okay.
And that was what Dr. Braddock had agreed to. Basically, let us develop the self-advocacy movement there, along with Kathy Tiro, who was at that time part of the DD Council. And then people were asked to come together, 2 people from each of the chapters that had started, to come together and talk about forming the state organization. So we met for a long time with them also to learn about incorporation and what it would take to incorporate, and then, all the stuff that went along with that, what you had to do. So we had to do things like sell t-shirts and stuff to raise money to incorporate. And then we learned about how to set up, and one of the things that, a lot of things that Leanne helped make sure that was happening is that she wanted us to learn how to do all of the steps where they didn't do it for us. They could have, some groups support people, fill out all the forms and just send it in, but she wanted to make sure that people understood what it was, and it was truly our group